Today we are making chicken Alfredo Cordon Bleu. And that means I'm going to show you an easy recipe for making your chicken Alfredo and spicing it up a little bit with some other flavors. So what I'm getting ready right now is my garlic and my onions. This is a really quick recipe. It'll come together really fast. The garlic and onion are going to go in the pan to cook the chicken first, to flavor our pan and get ready to build our sauce. And then I'm going to show you how to make a quick Alfredo sauce and how to add some ham and some different cheeses and even a little veggie in there to make a quick one-pot meal for any night of the week. So I'm popping the garlic and I'm chopping it up. I use pretty much a whole head of garlic every time I cook. Now, you don't have to use that much if you don't like garlic. If you want to use a little less, that's fine. But I pretty much use the whole head of garlic whenever I'm cooking a meal. All right, we've got some chopped garlic. We've got our onion chopped up. I also have some ham and some Swiss cheese. And I have about 4 ounces of cream cheese, and I'm going to show you where that comes into play in just a few minutes. So we're going to go ahead and head on over to the range because everything else for this meal is done over there. Okay guys, I put some water on to boil and it's come to a boil, so now I'm ready to add my pasta, but I want to show you a little trick. So when the water comes to a boil is when we want to salt it. We don't want to salt it beforehand because it's going to take it longer for the water to boil. So salt it after it boils and be pretty liberal with the salt because that's what's going to give your pasta flavor. And if we don't salt it now, we're not going to have a chance to get that flavor into the pasta. So go ahead and salt the water, and then we're going to drop the pasta, but we're also going to go ahead and put in our vegetables. So what I'm trying to show you is how to do a quick meal when you get home from work on the weekday, and you want to make sure you can get this on the table as fast as possible. So our water's boiling. We have it on high. We salted the water. I'm using penne today, but you could use any pasta for this recipe. I'm going to go ahead and put the penne in there, and I have some frozen broccoli. Now the reason I'm using frozen is to show you how easy this is. So when I drop the pasta in there, I want to put the broccoli in there as well to cook, but I'm going to wait till the pasta comes back to a boil, and then we're going to put our broccoli right into the pasta water and cook 2 things at one time. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and build our sauce for our Alfredo in the other pan as soon as we flavor that pan with the chicken that we're going to cook first. So I'm going to go ahead and get my pan turned on. And I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of butter in the pan. We're going to let that start to melt. And then we're going to go ahead and add our onions and our garlic that we chopped up right to that pan. All right, our butter has melted. We're going to go ahead and add our onions and our garlic to the pan. We're going to let these cook down for about 1 minute, and then we're going to add the chicken in there and cook it off. All right, our onions and our garlic have been cooking for about a minute. We want to kind of scoot them off to the side, and we want to get our chicken in here. Now the chicken that I have is chicken breast, but I bought really thin breast so it'll cook really fast. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it down in here and we're going to get it seasoned. You need to season meat as you're cooking it. It's very hard to season meat once it's cooked. So what we're going to do is salt and pepper. And I got the thin chicken breast because they cook really fast and this is a weeknight meal. And of course we're going to do the secret seasoning. Be pretty generous with that. I'm going to go ahead and flip this so we can season the other side before it gets all the way cooked through. So the garlic and the onion is there to flavor our pan, to flavor our chicken. Our water is also boiling with our pasta in it. I'm going to give it one stir. And then I'm going to go ahead and add our broccoli. This is just an easy way to use one pan for everything. All right, broccoli's in, pasta's cooking. Our chicken is cooking. As soon as our chicken gets done, we're going to take the chicken out of the pan, and then we're going to build our sauce and melt our cheese on the top of our chicken with our ham, and we will have dinner ready. Our chicken's been cooking for a few minutes, and now it's time to deglaze our pan. So we're going to add a little white wine. That's going to get all of those flavors off the bottom of the pan. It's going to add extra flavor to our chicken and to our sauce. All right, our chicken has been cooking for a few minutes. It's time to get our chicken pieces out. Now this is going to cook again, but right now we need to build our beautiful sauce in this pan. So we're going to go ahead and take the chicken out. We're going to leave our onions and our garlic. And to that, we're going to add 4 tablespoons of butter. Now, this is an easy Alfredo sauce that you can bake with. It's not a true Alfredo. It's kind of a take on an Alfredo sauce, but it's one that can stand up to higher heat in the oven, so you don't have to worry about it breaking. So once we get that melted, we're going to add the secret ingredient, which is the cream cheese. Put that right into the pan. What I like to do with the cream cheese is break it up with a whisk. It's a little bit difficult, so if you leave the cream cheese out and let it get soft, it's a little easier. So sometimes when you make an Alfredo sauce and then you try to bake it in the oven, the Alfredo sauce will break, and that just means that it gets greasy looking, and that's not the kind of Alfredo sauce that we want. So what we're doing with the cream cheese, the way you fix a broken sauce, is by adding more fat. So we've added more fat in the form of cream cheese. Now I'm going to go ahead and get my heavy cream because it looks like we've made a mess, but I'm going to show you how this comes together. We're going to add a little bit of heavy cream to the pan and start to stir this around. And you're going to see that this is going to transform into a sauce. What looks like we messed up ends up being something beautiful. All that you see in there is flavor. That's all fawned from the bottom of the pan. Look at that beautiful sauce that we brought together. Okay, once our sauce is all together, which it is, and beautiful, we got all that flavor off of the pan. So the flavor that was on the pan was the flavor from the chicken cooking. It was the flavor from our garlic and our onions. All of that beautiful flavor is now into our sauce, which is where we want it to be. You don't ever want to leave fond on the pan because then you're leaving the flavor behind, and we want that in our dish. Our pasta is done. Now, while I was making that sauce, what I did was go ahead and turn my broiler on in my oven, and I turned it on high. Because what we're going to do at the very end is put our pan in the broiler, and that way we can just brown off the cheese on top. So what I'm going to do right now is get out the broccoli and the pasta and add it directly to our pan. What I like to do that with is something we call a spider, because I want to save my pasta water in case I need it. I don't want to get rid of my pasta water. So I'm going to turn it off, and I'm going to add my pasta and my broccoli directly to my sauce. And then we're going to add a little bit of Parmesan cheese to finish off our Alfredo. It's okay if a little of that pasta water gets into your sauce. Pasta water is a great thickener, and that's why we save it. It is liquid gold. Don't ever just pour your pasta water out until you're completely sure that you don't need it. So I'm going to let it sit here and hang out for a few minutes while we figure out if we need it for our sauce. We're going to go ahead and add a little bit of Parmesan to our pan and stir that around. We'll add some more later to top it all off. But right now what we want to do is get this into the oven. So I'm going to put the chicken on top of here. Go ahead and turn this burner off. We're going to put our pieces of chicken right on the top. And I'm cooking for 2 tonight. We are going to have leftover pasta. We want to make sure we add this chicken juice in there too. We're going to top it with a piece of ham. I like to get the little thicker cut ham, not the thin ham. Put that right on the top. And then we're going to cover that up with Swiss cheese. Now this is going to go in the oven. It's only going to bake for about 5 minutes under that roaster. And then when we take it out, our meal will be done and we'll be ready to eat. Our meal is fresh out of the oven. And you can see that the broiler browned the top of that cheese, melted it all down on top of our ham and our chicken. Our sauce didn't break where our pasta was because we used our cream cheese to keep it from falling apart in that hot heat. I hope you try this recipe. I hope you enjoy watching. Please subscribe and click the like button, and make sure you look for extended videos and extra footage over on our Patreon page. See you next time.